Hi friends, it's Andriy Vasylenko and welcome to my first big Q&A. The last time I did any kind of Q&As, except live streams, was back in April 2018, yeah? That apricot one. Apricot? Now I've got over 200 questions about music and not music, Metallica and not Metallica, about me and whatever you were interested in. So let's go.
That's some cool white shit.
Tips for how to shred bass like Cliff did. It's all about endurance and dexterity. So just play a lot, try to push your limits further every time. You're gradually gonna build it up. That needs time. All the way to the upper tier of complexity, such as Master of Puppets, Anesthesia, from the beginning to the end, in one take. That's the goal you should aim for. Try to play different stuff because that would help you approach your technique from different angles, from different ways to put your fingers on the fretboard, plus endurance, and plus you'll develop taste and ear for music. That's also quite important. How do you think the next Megadeth album is gonna be? And what do you think about the working title? The Sick, the Dying, and the Dead. That's quite a badass name. They should keep it, actually. I think it's gonna be at least as good as Dystopia. That's awesome news for most of you, and like alright news for me. But let's not overthink it. Just wanna thank you for making fun, inspirational content. Thank you everyone who writes me all these kind words. I cannot reply to everyone, but I read a lot. Just don't have time to reply to everyone. Are you ever getting bored with music? In fact, yeah. Being a music YouTuber, music commentary mostly YouTuber, and being a musician and composer, that took away so much of time and effort, and just it sucked the juices that I could use for my own creations. And so I tried to find some balance, and one of those ways was to make Chromatic Dreams, where I just played one acoustic guitar, one track. That was kinda my vegetarian diet as a songwriter. And I got a deadline every equinox, in the spring and the autumn. I have to release one album, one EP of 6 songs. This way, I actually returned to making music and got another 100 or so hours of playing acoustic guitar. Developed my discipline and everything else. When you have some objective, a deadline, which has some quantity into it, some number that you're gonna achieve, which also implies that you develop some skill, something that really pushes you forward. You both create content and develop skill. That might be a good way to remotivate you. Just find your goal, find your deadline, find your mountain to climb. Set some chain, like I wanna play all the Metallica songs, take some list, like 100 best bass riffs, and just go through them. One riff a day, one song a day, whatever. Some deadline, some challenge, some childish imagination, like if you remember of Metallica. Just make it a game and you'll need no motivation. I'm so suggesting that you write your own music, compose, even as little as guitar riffs, not complete songs. Because this is the skill that the world really needs now. If you stick to it, in 20 years we still have some music in the world, not written by machines but by real humans. Magda, hi. How did you find all the information? Do you have any tips on how to successfully use Google search when it comes to rare facts and bands and songs, etc.? These rare facts are not searchable in between big subjects. Like, by the way, Kirk wrote this riff. So I suggest reading Metallica books. Maybe just search Metallica interview and put the year, like Metallica interview 2002. But it's not all. The information is within the very songs. Just pay attention. And also, a great source of the hidden stuff, isolated tracks. They are on YouTube, most of them. And also I'm gonna to continue putting Metallica master tracks in my Telegram community. I've posted there Orion, I think, The Unforgiven, yeah. Something that is not on YouTube or is very hard to search for, like the extra guitars and extra cowbell and stuff. And actually, let's go to Telegram questions. What is your favorite thrasher from Death Magnetic? That was just your life. My bass guitar rig ran down. There's nothing to run down. I'm now mostly acoustic because that's easier in my current life conditions. When did you start playing bass and how long do you play bass now? I started playing bass in 2010, but I'm not playing that often. I'm not that fanatic. My level is actually 2-3 years of daily practice, like at least 1 hour of deliberate practice with when you feel that you're struggling but you overcome it. And gradually get to this level, but not 10 years. When you had to listen only one band for months and you cannot choose Metallica, what's it gonna be? It's gonna be one that I don't listen often to, having a lot of albums, Alright, maybe Rolling Stone, I don't know. Your favorite Anthrax album and why? Worship music because that's their big comeback. How did you meet metal music? In the early 2000s, it was everywhere, especially Rammstein, even though some don't think Rammstein is metal, but do you listen to black death metal? Not so much. I prefer death metal because that's closer to riff-oriented approach. When you have focus, it's closer to thrash metal. And for another reason, you might guess. If you can only stop one of them, stop Jason from leaving, stop Metallica from hiring Bob Rock, and stop Metallica from losing Saint Anger. There's only one that implies that Metallica don't break up. That's hiring Bob Rock. Is there any underrated music that you want to recommend to us all? Well, there's so many obscure bands, obscure musicians, independent musicians, ones that are making music in their bedroom, that write great riffs, and sometimes don't get to finishing songs, but riffs are actually ready pieces of music, something that people search for, riffs compilation, best Metallica riffs, etc. And people don't really care about songs unless it's Metallica and any band from the past. So this approach of guitar riffs would free up so much of music, and guys and girls who do them would have an opportunity to share them with the world, to have the way to show these undone songs. And I've been thinking about how to make this happen. What do I do besides YouTube and playing bass guitar? Bass guitar is not my priority, actually. I play electric guitar, play acoustic guitar too. I read a lot of books now. I like sports. I have not been to gym for a long time, so now I do shit on bars, like pull-ups and push-ups. Do you think the Metallica interview is possible, or will it remain a goal never reached? It might never happen, but I view it as a challenge. If it never happens, so be it. But I'm gonna just play the game and with you make our Metal Geek podcast. I have the energy now to go in that direction, and yeah, let's play the game. What is the difference between thrash metal and progressive metal? To me, progressive metal is like jazz in metal. They want to push the boundaries of music forward. What's possible to play on the guitar and drums and bass. Sometimes progressive songs are in 4/4, like in Gojira. They don't use, say, 7/8. They usually go in 4/4, but they make it feel like there's something crazy going on there. They fuck with accents and stuff.
I just so love when it snows here in Ukraine, because it covers all the garbage, shit, and bums.
Would you live outside Ukraine? If I was single, with no obligations, Ukraine would be a perfect place to live. Stuff is cheap here, especially service. Food is not that cheap compared to even Poland, as well as clothing, but services, cafes, restaurants, dentists, taxi is very cheap. Within Poltava, which is about 300,000 people, you can move around within $2-5. But since I'm a family man now, I must consider the future of my kids, and it's not that bright. I wish education was better, I wish healthcare was better, especially for kids, and I wish there's more opportunities just for the kids not to socialize in a bad way. The only group of people who are rather fucked in Ukraine are the elderly with their pension. That's not enough to live a good life. But again, if you are young, healthy, you know how the modern world works, internet devices, you'll be alright. Alright, let's back to YouTube, and we've got another 100 comments, so some tips for selling own music. Don't spoil the joy of creating with thinking about money. That's a trap I have fallen to. I decided to just make music for the sake of it, for the sake of honing the sword. Make more music because world needs it. With every new song, there is a better chance you get discovered, because that's the internet, everything is possible. Try to share it, but don't rely on it as your source of income. And music would be like your creative outlet, something precious that you want to keep pure. These Chromatic Dreams albums, with every new EP, I promoted it less and less. The fourth part, the last part, I did not promote it at all. I just posted on Bandcamp, and that's it. I found inner motivation, because that helped me finish something that I've been thinking about for 8 years. Reaching the goal, climbing the mountain, find something inside you that helps you keep going. What was your biggest inspirations to keep going on YouTube throughout these years? That's a roller coaster. My main inspiration, my main reason not to quit YouTube, because other options would be I would earn less money, I would see my family less, and just I would be having regrets that I did not follow something that would be close to music, to art, to creation, to talking to people, like-minded people. I was kind of pushed against the wall. I was trapped in the corner, and the YouTube was the only exit. But sometimes it was tough. Sometimes it was like, I wish I had a real job, physical job, because my mind was overloaded, and that's not fun. Mental health is something that I become aware of for the past couple of years. I used to think that you got a brain, alright, it's working, but sometimes brain is gonna fuck with you. It seems like you're not in control of your emotions, of your thinking. You see that like from a side, like, that's not me. I had fun, but eventually health got up. I said, man, that's the time to rethink, to reload. So now I can make these videos without thinking of what YouTube would need, just to be with you. Now I feel so much relief making podcasts and making videos like this that don't really need montage. But at the same time, I want to make some really huge things, kind of documentaries once in a month. We'll see. How can I get into learning music theory and be able to analyze music? And a lot of people actually ask me, how did I learn so much of music theory? I don't know much actually. That comes naturally. As you play songs, as you compose, you want to know what the hell is happening there, what your brain and your fingers are doing. Just eat one piece of music theory at a time in the context of some real music, some existing song or a riff. And then you go into the rabbit hole, and that's again like a game. There will always be stuff you don't know. But at some point, some first stage, you'll have so much fun learning another piece of information, another rule, another example, and that would continue to the end of your life. I'm running out of time, and there is a couple of questions that I want to turn into complete videos. So thanks for your comment, thanks for your kind words. It's Andriy Vasylenko, and hear you next time, friends.
All right. Good night.